Hi, this is Thomas Believe in the Run.
And this is Drew with Wear Testers.
I know, normally I'm the big guy in the room. Today, it's Drew, and you can see by the height. Drew, how high are you?
I'm 6'6".
No, I said, how high are you?
Not.
Not at all. Yeah, 6'6"?
Yep.
Holy cow, man, that's amazing. All right, so today we're kind of breaking from our regular conversation about running shoes and stepping into something that Wear Testers knows a lot about, which is the basketball sneaker culture. And I had a question for Drew. I was like, I don't understand like how you know what's a good Jordan, what's a bad Jordan, how you go through it. I know that people have favorites. When I was in 1989, I had that shoe, and you brought one of those with you today. So why don't we talk a little bit about sneaker culture as far as basketball shoes go?
Okay, so these were originally basketball shoes in the 80s and 90s. All the Jordans you see on people's feet. Now, they've gone freelancing with the colors to match every outfit possible, but they were basketball shoes. Now you'd say, oh, they're heavy. They use different materials. You know, we're much more into the plastics and meshes these days. These are all leather and plastic overlays and things like that. We'll get into that. But probably the one you see most on people's feet around town is the Jordan 1. Now this is a Jordan 1 in like an Orlando Magic colorway, which I bought because I like the Orlando Magic, but it uses some of the color blocking you see on Jordan's original pairs.
And I'm gonna jump in right here because you're saying it like this is the Jordan, but I know enough about the sneaker culture that you have mids, you have highs,
that's true.
And you got, is the other one the skate low?
The Jordan 1 has had lots of iterations over the years. They've had people at the brand that have messed with it, have done things that have offended sneakerheads, but this is the typical high right here. They are actually doing something recently that's called an 85 cut, where they're even a little bit better in terms of the toe shape and things like that. Stuff that only the enthusiasts notice. Now the resellers jump on that and try and resell it to the enthusiasts for a ton of money. But this is the basic shape with the high. Jordan actually used to wear the mids in games. Mids have a bad reputation.
Why is
for
that?
Some reason. Well, it's because they cost 110. Well, they used to cost 110 versus like the 130. And so I think they got this like budget reputation. Now this is 160, 170 for a normal one. The mids tend to be 130, and then the lows are also 130. Now the lows, there's various iterations. There's like a fat tongue skater type version, and then there's the actual version that Jordan wore back in the day, which they are starting to bring back more often.
And the weird thing to me is knowing like from StockX and the GOAT and all these different ones, the resale market on these things is insane.
Yep.
But I walk into a Foot Locker or whatever and I see a Jordan, I don't want to buy it even for casual because I'm like, it must suck if it's still on the wall.
They're starting to sit a little bit more now that people don't have as much disposable income with the way the economy's going. Generally, if it's sitting, it's not hyped, it's not hot. It's not on the same level as like a Yeezy release. That's why I brought this 3, because this is a collab for Dornbecker Hospital. It's a charity event that Nike Jordan does every year. Now this shoe is beat. It's from 2012. I've worn these a ton. All-Star Weekend in Chicago a couple years ago, I wore them all around in the snow and stuff. I could still turn around on StockX and sell this thing for 200, 250, which I paid 150 for it back in the day. But the collab is the thing, which you guys have done some highlighting of collabs of like Solomon and things like that. Yeah. It's the same way on the basketball side. Those are the ones people want. There's a company, a sneaker boutique called Union that is doing some great Jordan collabs. Another one called Ama Manieri, which is also doing a bunch of good collabs. And those are hot enough that after they release, then the resale price is like 700, 800 bucks for that pair. Some of the collabs have gone like too mainstream now, where you want to pull something out. Like New Balance has the Joe Fresh Goods, but you see them a lot. And there's a few colorways that are like the hot but hard to find. And so as a sneakerhead, you kind of manage that, like which one you want to rock, stuff like that. But I'd say for some people, it's about the hunt, right? So it's not like they're hard to find, they're hard to get. They want to wear it because it took them 6 months to find a pair at a good price. For other people, it's about the nostalgia. That's principally me, is Jordan was rocking these while killing the league. And so you really want to have them on your feet because it, you know, it's like having the GOAT's footwear on your feet.
Yeah, well, like me, I had the one that's actually on your shirt, not this white version. And the reason I wanted that shoe, or why I would wear it now, is because I had to beg my dad to spend that. I think it was the first shoe I ever got that was over $100.
Yep.
I think it was like 110. I don't remember what it was. And my dad gave in to me, let me have those. So there was a moment of when I put those on my feet, I felt like I was elevated to another level. And I ended up not using them for basketball because I felt like it didn't have a high enough. I wanted more of a high top. If somebody's into running and they want a casual shoe and they kind of love the sneaker culture too, because I think we have some crossover fans there that, you know, love shoes, want to be able to do that. But like me, would walk into a store and be like, I know that these aren't the cool ones. Do I look like a sucker for buying this one? Or is it still like, hey, if it looks cool, you like it, it's still a Jordan, it's still cool?
I would say just because it has the Jumpman on there does not mean it's cool. There's a lot of team models and odd things that Jordan is doing, and people would not look at that as cool. If you're rocking an original colorway of a 4, which this was, this released like November of last year, it was hard to get, but you could throw in an entry on the sneakers app, things like that. You just have to be attuned. You either have to have a friend that understands what cool Jordans are on the horizon, and then you got to get the sneakers app, you got to throw in an entry there, or getting good with the people at your local sneaker boutique.
So was the 5 the one that added the cement, or was that the 3?
So that was the 3. So you can even see it a little bit on this one. It's red. It's probably going to be really hard to see in the video, but that's the cement print. Okay. So the story is Jordan, after the 2, was going to go over to Adidas, get paid a lot more money. The 1 and the 2 he liked, but he liked Adidas product better still. But then Tinker Hatfield showed up on the scene with the 3. Jordan fell in love with the silhouette and the shoe, and that's what kept him there. And, you know, Nike would not be near as big as what it is
So
today.
wait a second, you're telling me that Tinker wasn't the original?
Nope, it was Roger Moore was the designer
James
of
Bond.
the Jordan 1. Yeah, not that Roger Moore.
Okay. So if there's somebody in our audience that wanted to start getting into like the sneaker culture and start getting into that side of stuff, what would you recommend that they do?
So I would recommend kind of browsing through StockX and GOAT and seeing like what colorways you like. Obviously, the original Jordan colorways are all going to be red or black or all Chicago black with Bulls. Red hints, yes. But that's not to say you might like something else. But you find the one you like and you kind of watch how the price fluctuates, because especially now with the economy, you can get some deals. And maybe.
So does it show you like, hey, this was up here, now it's down there, and that doesn't necessarily reflect the loss of coolness in the shoe? It's just that people aren't spending.
Yeah, exactly. Like around The Last Dance when that came out, all the Jordans shot up. But one thing to know is like once you decide on the pair, maybe you've talked to a friend, you're like, okay, I want that pair. You may be paying for a dead stock pair. This was, you know what, like 160 when it came out. Maybe nowadays it's like 230, something like that on StockX or GOAT. So you're probably paying a premium, but like if you're going for that cool factor, that's kind of what you're stuck with right now on that side of the sneaker industry. But one thing for all runners to realize is these are not going to be the comfort you are used to. So for me, for example, in all my Jordan 1s, I switch out the insole. And you know, this is Move. It's an insole company owned by Damian Lillard, but you could use really any insole you like. And even what they do nowadays is they do a polyurethane insole, which is a little more comfortable than the simple Ortholite. And this is what they had back in the day. So it's also more authentic, but it's still like the comfort goes away and you're left with kind of a brickish feel. I wouldn't walk long distances in these, even with your insoles in. It's not a theme park shoe, right? Go to your New Balance, go to your Brooks, go to whatever.
Hoka.
You know, go to your Hoka, exactly. Yeah. But with Jordans, it's more of like, that's what you go out, you know, in, you know, you pair it with jeans.
Yeah, you're doing the whole look. I think that another thing people don't understand is like, I think brands have tried to manufacture casual wear or casual, whether it's like streetwear shoes, but the ones that you see that really resonate originally were built for performance. So even if you look at like the old New Balance shoes. Like if you got into the running sneaker culture for that side, the old classics, the legends, through running, those shoes at one point were actually meant for running. It's sad because if you tried to run a 990 now, you'd probably...
Well, you and I were just talking about Bo Jackson's cross trainers and how you like those. Those are casual shoes nowadays.
Right.
But there's that aura of like, this was Bo Jackson's shoe, or, you know, Jordan's shoe, or Penny Hardaway's shoe. Even on the running side, one of my favorite...
Chuck Taylor's.
Yeah, one of my favorite retros to wear around is the Air, what they call now the Air Max 90, because it was released in 1990, but it was actually the Air Max 3. It's still pretty comfortable as long as they put the air unit in the front and the back like it originally had.
But would you want to run in it?
No, you wouldn't want to run in it. But I mean, you know, if you're running, you know, to catch your plane or something, it's doable. Whereas running to catch your plane in a Jordan, not gonna feel good. I mean,
if you were gonna dunk at the end when you got to the plane?
Even then, there's much better options.
So, all right, cool. That pretty much wraps this up. Drew, thanks for coming in from Wear Testers. If you want to check out their YouTube channel, you probably have already seen it in the feed if you've been watching our stuff. Drew also does some shoe reviews for people that are usually coming out of the sport of basketball. I think that's where you're going, but now I guess it's anybody who's looking for shoe reviews. So another resource for you to check out what's hot, what's new in the running world.
Yeah, and on the Jordan side, if you found a Jordan pair that you love and you're like, oh, this looks awesome, you can go to one of our videos. I mean, we've got like 1,600 in our catalog. Just search and you'll find that video and we'll tell you, is the leather good? How's the insole? Is it like the original? We'll kind of give you a little bit of the insight into, is it a good Jordan or was it, you know, something where the factory messed up or whatever? Because you might see a good price, but there may be a reason for that.
You spend all this money or you look for, you know, these shoes, and the secondary market is only second to Nike selling them direct. So it's a big business. People want to hold on to them, probably see if they go up in value, maybe save them, almost like NFTs or Bitcoin. Where's the enjoyment out of wearing the shoe and kind of getting that flex? Do people wear these shoes out, or you frown? It's like, should you not?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the fear that people, even honestly at Nike and Jordan that I've talked to kind of off the record have, is that what is the experience of a young kid? Yours and mine was walk into a store, see a pair of Jordans on the shelf, buy it, play ball in it, love it, remember it, then you want to buy it again. But right now, that experience for kids is buy it, put it on my shelf. Can I make $100 off this? Can I make 150? So they're almost viewing them as assets, which does viewing something as asset breed nostalgia for later, so you can sell it to them again down the line. And I would say that's a big fear for people. They're just not sure how it's gonna look with whether it be Jordans or like a lot of the shoes we have in 10 to 20 years. Back then it was just about making something for performance, but now there's the whole fashion lifestyle aspect of it. And we're seeing it hit and running. Like even Hoka is creating some shoes with kind of leather uppers using their normal midsole base. And so it'll be interesting to see how runners react as it starts infiltrating.
It does. It kind of takes it away from, like, you're like, okay, when it goes into the fashion side, you're like, it doesn't make sense anymore. But all right, cool. Well, thanks, Drew. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. We had a good time partying with you this past weekend to kick off the Summer Grit. If you haven't signed up for Summer Grit already, do it now. Just go to believeintherun.com/grit and enjoy some miles with us this July.